Introduce you to West Oakland when West Oakland was the only place to be. This is from my book, by the way, in case you want to carry me home. Eric's got a few of them in his place. It's called Oaktown Blue. Yeah. They came on foot by car, riding hope, on horseback by train on the plain. They came wearing faith, pockets full of dreams, running from cotton fields and chopping cane. They came running. No one better was waiting, carrying their whole lives in paper bags, carrying guitars on their backs. Sacks full of tall tales and blues songs of a home they knew they'd always miss but swore they'd never go back to. They came by ship, discharged, scars, wounds no time could heal, released from military hospitals on West Coast shores they'd never even seen. Battle fatigue, confused, feeling used, and they came in droves from the war, shell-shocked and tired, looking for a home, and when they didn't find it, they built it. On any night in West Oakland, you might run into migrant workers straight out the cotton fields of Georgia, strutting their stuff and pouring and pumping and grinding alongside of armies of ditch diggers, tradespeople, and unemployed PhDs who were never told they were unemployable. Saints and sinners from Texas and Mississippi, from Arkansas and Virginia, Maryland, the Carolinas, and even the West Indies, all dancing away their rage, a rage of sadness hidden behind memories of clouds of cotton and buried beneath too many mountains of sugarcane and tobacco leaves, a frustrated fury gladly forgotten and left behind to rot in deserted plantation fields. And you could hear the relief in the clubs as Big Mama Thornton took her crown and gave Oakland everything. Everything. Woman gave us everything. Everything she wasn't allowed to give in the South. John Lee Hooker, he brought the boogie out the Delta, and the great Bob Geddins and the great Bob Geddins and Ivy Joe Hunter and Charles Brown gave us smooth. You could go right down the street and get yourself some of Beverly Stovall, Sonny Rhodes, Jimmy McCracklin, J.J. Malone, the sophisticated sweetness of Jimmy Witherspoon, or the raw passion in L.C. Good Rock and Robinson's blues violin, or get your insides ripped out and put back together again as Etta James and Sugar Pie DeSanto tore the roof off the house. The blues didn't just slip into the Bay Areas like a cloud burst. The blues came in waves, powerful waves, waves as subtle as a tidal wave and as painlessly as a pregnant woman in hard labor. The blues came in oversized, raggedy overalls, sometimes sporting evening gowns and three-piece suits. It came furious, luxurious, jubilant, overworked and underpaid, running from the Klan, holding on to everything they had while others just looking for something to hold on to. The blues. I said the blues came west looking for freedom land. LA, Sacramento, and San Francisco had that big city thing. Folks rocked in Russell City. Vallejo had it seen. Richmond had a kind of smooth, Chi-town sounding thing. But if you wanted a gut-wrenching, soul-taking, down-home blues, the kind the church and your mama both warned you about, the kind of blues that made your hair stand on and snatch you out of chairs and made you shout and jump like a fool and dance, that good old makes you want to holler kind of blues, you got to come to Oakland. Oakland, the blues mecca of the West Coast. Scene was as wild and sophisticated as you were. Every place a different personality, and every night was party night where you could romance and grind and whine or cry about everything you didn't have, or brag and be loud and show off everything you did have. I say you could talk about everything you wanted to be at Slim Jenkins Club, Esther's Orbit's Room, Ruthie's Inn, or Eli's Mile High. Every night. And exorcism, where another demon was put to rest, where you were free to be real and be downright nasty. You could show your stuff till you were wet with sweat at the Rum Boogie, Christie's Grill, or the Palladium Club, and all the nameless hidden round the clock juke joints. And the blues came down like rain, fell down on everything, fell down on Oakland where blues was king. Then they came. I said they came and knocked down the cafes. They tore up 7th Street. They closed the clubs. They promised jobs in schools to uplift and save. Then they took the hood and left a wasteland full of restless spirits. Ghosts running loose, with plenty of reasons to sing the blues. But But when everyone else goes to sleep, you can still hear them. J.C. Burris, Johnny Ivory, Z.C. Hill, Mississippi Johnny Waters, hear them singing. Their sounds written all over every building that seeps up out of the ground you walk on and is yours. Little Johnny Taylor, Johnny Horseman, Percy Mayfield, listen, they tried to free you, they tried to hear you with their blues so strong, even Willie Bobo was singing Never Go Back to Georgia. Buddy Ace, Cool Papa Sadler, Brownie McGee and Lowell Folsom, they'll always be here. They refuse to disappear. Nothing can stop it. Gentrifiers can't block it. The same folks that dance from the blues scene into the mambo sessions are back again at the California Hotel now run the Dorsey's, Locker, Bluesville, Sweet Jimmy's, and the Fifth Amendment. The same people and their children are bringing in the new. Queen Ida came two-stepping out the bayou leading the Zydeco parade. And Sugar Pie DeSanto and John the Hook and Never Grow Old. They still ride on top of our totem pole list. Lady Bianca and Jesse James, E.C. Scott and Al Vaughn, Sister Monica, Bobby Webb and Gwen Avery, Little Frankie Lee and Billy Dunn, Wally Trash, Faye Carroll, Willie G, Frankie Kelly, Johnny Talbot and Ronnie Stewart leading the caravan of All-Stars into tomorrow. It's in the air we breathe and it just keeps on coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and nothing and nobody can stop it. Other folks can keep their big heads stuck way up in the clouds, but when it all comes back down to earth, the prize is ours and it's our jewel and it's still coming down. Oaktown Blue, play the blues. Carlos Reyes. Byron Cohen. Oh my goodness, folks. Woo, it's all right. You know what? Carlos, why don't you give us some of that, Oakland, Paraguayan medicine that you got here?
Well, something that her favorite tune, I'll do this on my own.
Yes,
so it's my mother is from Colombia, and good old Colombia. You know what Colombia is known for is and a couple of things. Is good coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that perks you up, and like in Cuba, coffee, boy, it's good stuff. And there's a rhythm called joropo in Venezuela and Colombia. But the old people, they say that the joropo is really the soot that's at the bottom of when you grind the coffee. That stuff, that's the stuff you want to drink. That's not where you put the spoon in and only half the spoon comes out. No, that's really good. So anyway, I wrote this tune for my mother, and I also thanked a friend of mine when I was 10 years old. He was already a professional harpist, and he showed me this rhythm. And his name is Ortiz, and so for my mother, I said joropo, joroportiz. And play on the word saying it's a joropo for you. It's for my mama.
Yes, indeed. Wow. I love that piece.
Thank you.
I love that piece. You know, something magic happens when Carlos and I get together, but then something also magic happens in this place. This was a gig that part of my group, Avotcja Madupwe, and you haven't heard us, please check us out when you hear us, when you hear that we're playing somewhere. But we were working here, and at that night it was Sandy Poindexter, John Jang, Eugene Warren, and Ian Dogle, and myself. And you know, something special happens with musicians. We call it locking in. When you lock into each other and you become one, That's real special magic that happens. But it even gets more magical when we lock into each other and the audience, and we all lock into each other. Something superhuman happens. You lose yourself, and you don't know how you're playing, what you're playing, how long you're playing, or whatever. And it happened that night. So this is called Ecstasy in Glen Park. And it was about a gig we had here. It was, 3/15/2009. And I want to put it out there for Eric Whittington, who's kept this place going for all these years. And and it's also in my book. A slight hint, anyway. So with
What are you
that,
trying to say? What you trying to say?
Anyway, so Carlos, why don't you take us some kind of way that you can, we're a jazzy kind of group. We also play música latina, lo que sea, whatever, so.
Okay.
Dame.
Sure.
Ecstasy in Glen Park. There was a wildness in the air. I say there was a wildness in the air, pregnant expectation as we unpacked our instruments and fell madly in tune with each other. The crowd at Bird and Beckett's didn't know what to expect. Truth was, neither did we. We just dropped the chains of ego, picked up our axes and started playing. The passion of melody wrapped itself around us, quenched its thirst in the sweat of our euphoria, spirit dancing from note to note to note to note, every through bars that held us like a first kiss as we melted into each other and became one. One with each other, one with the muse, one with the audience. That night we did not play music. I said, that night we did not play music. We did not play music, but that night the music played us. This was not just another gig. This was magic, 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 beautiful, sacred, harmonious magic, a powerful, indescribable, transcendent magic. It was love, the purest kind of timeless love, and we We were an orgy of sound, sound, sound. Carlos Reyes, Myron Cohen, yes.
All right.
And Eric for putting this place together and having this magic happen around here.
Yeah.
You know, Carlos, what you got for us? Take us somewhere magical.
Somewhere magical. Okay. So in Paraguay, right in the middle, there's the biggest waterfalls. It's put it this way: Niagara Falls is gigantic. Niagara Falls is like 1/3 the size compared to this, called the Iguazu Falls.
Yeah.
And it's surrounded by the Brazil side and the Argentina side. And I've had the fortune to walk out on this isthmus that they built, and you're like in the middle of it. It's just, Mother Nature just is incredible. You know, it makes us feel like we're humans, but we're really this small. And those are the times I go, God, I gotta respect the planet and everything else. So anyway, a friend of my father's back in the 30s wrote a song called Cascadas, which is Spanish for waterfall. So, and the enormous feeling that you get. So when you play it in a big theater, the acoustics sound great. So we're gonna bring that feeling here somehow. A little magic. I'm gonna do this song.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Oh, you definitely took me there, you know. So many beautiful things happening on this planet with all the craziness that's happening on the planet. And fortunately, the beauty is will keep us going despite the madness. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful dance craze, music craze in Argentina. I've been working on another book called Diaspora Negra, Black Diaspora, about the black presence in the Americas. And got to Argentina, got very scary. Very scary history. I mean, made Mississippi look like heaven. There was one point in Argentina during La Esclavitud, slavery, that Congolese people, African descent, black people were the largest population outside the indigenous population in the area. After slavery, this big music dance craze happened, and my friend Leslie loves this dance and this music. And you call it tango. There's no such word as tango. And it comes from a word from the Congolese Delta. And the folks were dancing this all over. And if you look at your history, and if you look at all the original composers and stuff, the black is the ace of spades. So there's no way to deny what it was. But it was also considered pornographic against the law. And so there were people who actually died because of being, dancing tango. A lot of the folks, when they killed most of the folks, the black folks in Argentina, they wound up in Uruguay and formed another milonga. That's another branch of that music. But the music is absolutely gorgeous. And when I got there, I was introduced to some people there, some black folks from Argentina and Uruguay, and I had an epiphany, and I saw these two beautiful black dancers. Of course, I put me in the picture, and they were doing this X-rated dance, and I wrote this poem, Obligado in Argentina. Obligado is a bastardization of the word obligado, which means navel to navel, and so it's black slang. Obligado in Argentina, or navel to navel in Argentina. And in my book, again, a slight hint, it's all in Spanish and all in English, but for sake of time, etc., I'm going to do a mezcla where I'm going to kind of put pieces of it, of both Spanish and English together. So I'm going to have Carlos take us, because he also loves this music, tango, and because my friend Leslie Simon is here, I want to put it out there because she loves tango. So with that, Obligado in Argentina, or navel to navel in Argentina, remembering the majesty of tango. Obligado en Argentina. Yo recuerdo la danza mística y la música sensual y el sabor a cuerpos sudorosos. El ambiente de nuestro orgullo arrogante, creatividad completa desenfrenada. Fuimos guapachosos, bailadores negros, celebrándonos en templos del solar yo, recordando los días estáticos, bailando contigo, libre, auténtico, no esclave de nadie, y tú y yo, una pareja conectada eternamente y bailando obligado. un exorcismo a pesar de una sombra de la esclavitud colmada de una libertad inconquistada. Bailando adueñaste de fiebre apasionada frenéticamente pero suave y sin vergüenza. Remembering those far away days like a flood of memories and a waterfall of truth. Memories tearing up the silence of historical lies, unforgettable days that haunt me. Echoes of painful sadnesses. I remember those bloody days in our Africanizing nights in secret sanctuaries. Undercover happiness. Forbidden joy, dancing navel to navel, dancing in safe havens covered with tears. I remember the dusty, muddy dirt of our dance floors and the price we paid for the right to dance. I remember the magic of those nights full of stars, nights completely drunk on dance. Sacred memories of an unforgettable legacy, you and I. You and I, two rhythmic volcanoes, two dark rebels, two black spirits older than time, dancing navel to navel. Our holy ritual against the divine law of the lawless, and I remember you and those days dancing like we were out of our minds in the alleys, proud disciples of the church of dancing navel to navel, right in the face of the evil ghost of slavery, dancing with you and your bigger than life spirit, you and I. You and I, we were one body, one heart, one inseparable soul, you and I, bathing in the moonlight, one unconquered couple, together forever and ever, dancing navel to navel in Argentina. Y te recuerdo y tú y estos días bailando como locos en los callejones, discípulos atrevidos de la iglesia de bailando obligado, a pesar de la fantasma endiablada de la esclavitud, bailando contigo y tu espíritu inmortal. Tú y yo fuimos uno, un cuerpo, un corazón, una alma inseparable, tú y yo, purificándonos en la luna, una pareja inconquistada, tú y yo, purificándonos en la luna, juntos en espíritu para siempre amar, bailando, obligados en Argentina. Thank you. There's a wonderful movie that was made by an amazing musician. I think he passed not too long, great musician. He had to move to France to finally talk about the issue. He did his homework. It's called Tango Negro. And if you want to get the truth about what it's all about, because there are very few black folks left in Argentina. You have to get close to Uruguay to see anyway. But anyway, it's a powerful movie and I strongly recommend it. So with that, what you got for us?
Let's see. We should do something with the violin.
Yeah.
So, talking about black culture, and one of the things people don't realize is that no matter where in the world you had oppressed people, slavery, one of the things that eased a little bit of that pain, a little bit of that injustice, was music. And if you were a musician, you had just that little separate ounce of hope to either get a better piece of meat, a little bit better place to sleep. In this country, in slavery, you got to sleep on the man's porch, stuff like that. So if you were a fiddle player, you had a chance. During the Holocaust, musicians were saved because they still needed entertainment. And for a lot of people, a lot of musicians, one way that they were able to express, because when you're a slave or you're kept, you're not able to express yourself, was through music. So music has been a saving grace. It's the original medicine. So music and dance. In every culture, indigenous culture had music as medicine. What have we forgotten? So I want to just do a little interpretation of that kind of energy that we've had. It sure has been my medicine for many years.
Vitamin B flat, the saving grace of the universe.
So when you'll feel it later, I'll give you a cue. religions or their thoughts. So what they did was they hummed and chanted. Notice how many countries could sound like this. Thank you, Lord, for giving me my music.
Yes, we'll see. Yes, indeed. You know,
Thank you. Thank you.
you talk about his mama is from Colombia. What folks don't realize, a lot of talking about history of black folks in the Americas. In Colombia, there's an area called Palenque. These folks got away from slavery. They still exist, and amazing folks. If you want to check them out and support them. They produce some amazing music and what have you, and from the Palenque area.
The Afro-Colombian
Awesome.
history is pretty incredible. That's where the black culture in my skin is from my mother's side. You know, yeah.
Anyway, let's I want to use some of this Myron Cohen thing. For those who don't know, Myron Cohen is with a group called the Billy Higgins Legacy Band. Billy Higgins, an old teenage buddy of mine, passed away a few years ago. And I'm so glad that Myron and his buddies are keeping that tradition alive. But I wrote this thing. I'm very lucky as a small multi-percussionist to have worked with a lot of dance troupes. My mother and father both dancers as well. And one of those dance troupes is Diamana Corda West African Dance Company. And so I wrote this for them. And it's called The Rhythm in Us. Folks, when Carlos was talking, it wasn't just the languages that were kept from us. It was the languages, the religion. The drums were outlawed, and trying to stop folks from playing rhythms is kind of, because we could play rhythms on anything, and we did, and still do on anything. And which is how the steel drum was born and the other kind of things. You throw some garbage away, you throw some garbage away, and we're going to turn it around on. So this is called The Rhythm in Us, and it was written for a show that we did with Diamana Corda's West African Dance Company. So what I want to do is, Myron, I want you to start off with a solo, and then I'm going to come in and do this poem, and then I want you to blast us, do a drum, okay? So I'll lock into you. Go for your heart. This thing talks about all kinds of African rhythms from all over the Americas, so wherever you want to go. I'll lock into you. The rhythm in us. The rhythm in us in the beginning. I say in the beginning. There was only the voice of rhythm, the metrical vibrations of the wind caressing a cocoa palm. A slow, never-ending, predictable pulse, ear candy. The reliable heartbeat of the cosmos. It was God's dance, the medicine in every mother's lullaby, the healing, the rhythm, the deliberate, inexplicable beauty of nature's hand. A mysterious, unnameable something, the hidden, the ever-present cadence of a desert storm forever singing to us. It has always been the rhythm keeping us alive from the beat of our hearts to the call of the drum. The djembe and the junjun dictated the sway of our sisters' hips and the sensual swagger of our youngsters' walk. Our children strutted their stuff like peacocks, flashing rhythmic wings of go-go-quee and rah-rah arrogance. We were wealthy with the joy of creativity and had no need for superficial supplements. It was all about the rhythm. I say it was all about the rhythm, the unifying power of the sound that flowed through us. Our organic music had the guts to be fun. I said had the guts to be fun, was nutritional, therapeutic, and shamelessly proud. In the beginning, in the beginning, before the concrete clogged our ears, before the foul scent of plastic suffocated the perfume of flowers, even the insects on the trees sang to us. And all the rhythms of the universe called us by name, way back before hungry city lights gobbled up the stars. We moved with the grace of masters on the balafon, kept time in 100 different languages, and had our egos put in check by the bed and bow, bata drummers in the agogo. It was the rhythm that looked after us. I say the rhythm looked after us even when the going got rough, and they took away the drum. Our fathers went into labor and gave birth to steel drums, put us to bed fortified by the spiritual intensity of Mbira, wrapped us in the storytelling prowess of the Kora and Ngoma, told us with the sabor to dream with our eyes wide open, and never forget it was the rhythm. It's always the rhythm. It's always gonna be the rhythm. Our heartbeat, the master key, the symmetrical healing tonica, mystical rhythmic power that clears a healthy path to total unity, sings to us non-stop to the core of our soul. This drum call taking us home, and we are born in dance. Myron Cohen. Wow. Now, I know there's some folks out there that are watching this concert online. And if you have not donated, please do. Not only helps to keep this bookstore alive, it helps to pay our rent. And with that, I want to turn this back over to Carlos. Where you want to take us?
Well,
Oh wait, before we do that, I want you to make a whole big noise for Myron because he worked it. Come on.
Well, one thing I wanted to add to is that you were talking about the drums, were taken away, our speech was taken away, religious, anything having to do with religion was taken away. And this happened in all cultures that had slavery. And music was the release. One of the things that came out of that was an instrument that now has taken over the percussion world. I mean, from little kids to big professionals and everything. And it's this instrument that's not an instrument, but it is. In the slave ships, they had nothing. And what they would do is they would sit on the boxes that they were made to sit on. They flipped them up so they were taller, and they started playing them. In Peru, it became a national instrument.
Yes, it
It's
is.
called cajon, which means simply box. From there, a man called Paco de Lucia, Spanish flamenco man, said, we got something here. He took it to Spain, and he honored it, and he said where it came from, and it exploded. And now I see it on stage with folk musicians. You know, Elvin Bishop, Mr. Big Blues guy and everything, that's all he uses now for his rhythm is a cajon. So, you know, within our darkness, man, if we look right, there's a little bit of light. And to me, I think that's beautiful because it's about music.
Hey.
Yeah. So I know we're gonna pack up shop here, but I want to do something that you've heard me do this thing when I take my hand. People ask me always, "What's that ring?" Well, see, a folk instrument, a Paraguayan harp especially, has no sharpening levers, or like a concert harp, you have pedals, like all the black keys on the piano, so you can get your sharps and flats. Now there's modern techniques with little levers, but you can't do this. Or anything blues. So that's what I'm doing with this. And I can get all the jazzy chords. So I'm gonna play you one of the most traditional pieces that everybody's heard, and then I'm gonna put my little spin on it.
Oh my goodness. You know, I was very upset because my ride didn't show up. So as you see, I don't have all my little toys, my chimes and all of my little porqueria and whatever, my clave and checkades and what have you. But I was worried about it. But hey, what can I say? This has been miraculous. I want to thank each and every one of you that came out. And I also want to thank the folks that are watching this concert on the, on the web. I want to thank Eric for having us here. We're going to close out with something. I wrote this thing. It's Raining Cafe, not R-A, but R-E-I-G-N, Raining Cafe, because I am a true undiluted coffeeholic. But I like the real stuff. I like that Puerto Rican coffee that kind of make hair grow on your eyeballs. Other folks that talk about, they always say, Avotcja, you're drinking coffee, you're getting ready, it's late, you can't drink coffee. As for me, it's a sleeping pill. I think that Ricans, what happens, you get off the breast and you wind up drinking coffee. And so Maria really tore up the island really bad, and it's still hurting bad. And different people, especially up in the mountains, they still are really hurting bad. So different people are sending stuff to different parts of the island. The crew that I belong to, we are sending stuff way up into the mountains, and that's where the coffee growers are. And I'm so grateful that they have sent me all kinds of wonderful Puerto Rican coffee. And so this is called, I got this bag of box. If Roberto, you're listening from Utuado right now, I'm talking about you. I got this box of stuff, and I opened the box and it fell out all of these brands of Puerto Rican coffees, which put me in seventh heaven. So this poem is in Spanglish, but I think you'll get the message. For those who don't know, Borinquen is the original name of the island before colonization. And it's raining. It's a R-E-I-G-N, like royalty. It's Raining Cafe, or Confesiones de una Cafeólica sin vergüenza, or Confessions of a Shameless Coffeeholic, which I admittedly am. So I want to put this out there, and I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting us. Please give my dear friend Myron a hand for sitting in with us. And my adopted son here, my great friend, the wonderful Carlos Reyes.
Gracias,
You hear that
Mama.
name, you gotta.
And of course, our queen of word here, the one and only, the birthday girl, the Avotcja. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, once again, it's Raining Cafe, Confesiones de una Cafeólica sin vergüenza. And take me
Yeah.
there.
So, what I want to put behind this is something I didn't write, but I feel it's appropriate. It's from Colombia, Venezuela. It's called Moliendo Café, which means grinding coffee. So you'll get the groove. We'll groove for a while, and then we'll drop it when she comes in. So we'll bring it down.
It's Raining Cafe. Confesiones de una Cafeólica sin vergüenza. Way up in the mountains of Borinquen. It's Raining Cafe. Indescribably precious gifts in little tiny coffee beans. Proud and homegrown and more numerous than raindrops. Café real con un aroma sin igual, and just a scent of café teto transports me to the pueblo of Las Marias. This coffee is sacred, precious, delicious, a real mountain treasure. Es un licor natural y orgánico y 100% del pueblo borincano, and with every cup of café mañanero and café lealtad, I am reborn. En las montañas de la isla del encanto, it's Raining Cafe. But even here, 3,595 miles away from it, the fruta sagrada del mambo, del campo, I daily drink in the power of those mountains, and I am energized every single day. I say every single day when I taste the essence of Café Cibales. I can feel the naturaleza of Ciales come alive inside my insides, and Café Oro de Puerto Rico. Ay, qué rico, a café increíble con su aroma sabroso. A sacred encanto that tastes of majesty, and con cada trago de nuestro café subo pa'l cielo. In the mountains. In the mountains of La Isla del Encanto, it's raining café, royal coffee beans, un tesoro nacional with hypnotic aromas that smell of the wildness of freedom, untamable freedom, libre like the dirt of the mountains that gave them birth. Oh yes, 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 I confess I'm hooked. I get drunk with every cup of café de aquí Utuado, majestuoso tesoro sagrado de las montañas, in my house. Tomo el sabor 100% de las montañas. Tomo el sabor 100% de la montaña. And I shamelessly admit it, there is not one ounce of doubt in my mind. I am a proud 100% unapologetic coffeeholic. And in my house, it's raining café. 100% from the mountains of La Isla del Encanto. De la Isla del Encanto. La Isla del Encanto. La Isla del Encanto. La Isla de mi corazón.
One more time. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Avotcja. Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, everybody. Oh, my friend. And this is from Roberto in Utuado, folks. What can I say? Thank you again for coming out, for supporting the poetry. A lot of what I did today is in that book that's sitting right over there. Please check it out. And if you're not sick of me, I'm also the resident poet with the Electric Squeezebox Orchestra. We are with the California Jazz Conservatory, and we have a residency over there the second Sunday of the month. So tomorrow from 5:30 to 7, we will be playing some great music, 17-piece jazz band that will blow you off the planet. So if you're not sick of me, please come out tomorrow and hear some more great music and support. And once again, Myron Cohen.
Yeah. Yes.
What do I say about this guy here? Carlos Reyes, he ain't part of the human race.
Gracias.
Eric and the wonderful Burton Beckett, and each and every one of you, keep supporting this place and the positive vibe. Take the vibe. There's a magic happening here. Take it out, especially to that old evil neighbor of yours that never smiles and look like they sucking on lemons and eating gunpowder. Spread it to them and keep supporting the arts. Thank you so much. This gentleman here, this handsome guy here, Abdul Kanyada, if you hear that name, go and check him out. He's not only an amazing writer and storyteller and poet, he can sing his behind off. Plus, he's kind of cute.
Oh, our poetisa, Mama, gracias always for having me be part of your special events.
Oh, thank you.
Our sound man, Eric, also not just the bookkeeper man.
Thank you.
There's no confusion.
All right,
coming out for Avotcja.
Thank you.
For Carlos and Myron. Yeah. Avotcja.
Thank you so much.
And note, not from our sponsors, you can see Tango Negro for $1.99 on Amazon.
Oh, I didn't know it's on there. That's good.
Yeah.
I bought it. It's and that guy who did it. He was an amazing musician. And because Pia Sola paid part of that price too, when Pia Sola, because tango, if you hear the tango, these folks that have taken it over have really restricted it, so there's no solos or what have you. Pure Solo took it out every kind of way you could possibly do it. And the guy that did the movie Tango Negro, he couldn't even say the stuff he was saying. And so when he moved to France, that's when that movie got made, and he could finally do it. So anyway, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You know I'd be.